We were watching the 18 car on the racetrack.
He's not sure which direction to go now.
I thought he was on a qualifying run. He enters turn 3, and this is off turn 4. He just turns left. I mean, he's running 100 and something miles an hour on pit road entry, and got a little warning from NASCAR that said, hey, you got to back down your speed a little bit. I think they're a little more lenient when there's no other cars on pit road. There's no one lining up for qualifying. But, man, he got my attention. I don't know where he was going. I thought he was trying to join Brad Keselowski as the second guy to officially use the Roval, but he turned a little too early.
What would be the purpose of trying to get to pit road that fast? There's no time ever that you would ever enter pit road going that fast.
I have no idea what he was doing to try to do that.
Jimmy Johnson down for the green flag, trying to win a chase and trying to win a race.
Oh, and Johnson gets a good restart. He gets away from Edwards by about 5 cars. Junior spinning.
Earnhardt Jr. spins up in front of McMurray.
Tire flew off that left rear of the 8 car.
How in the world did that happen? The tire completely fell off the car.
That's a one attempt at a green-white checker.
Coming through the white, coming through the white.
Kind of luck. This is the emblematic of the kind of year I've had. Watch the 8 car. My heavens.
Man. Looks like maybe a broken wheel or something. I mean, the lug nuts just, don't all come off the car at the same time. It could have been a broken wheel. And Jamie McMurray, oh my gosh, bad day for him. He had such a good run going on.
What a crazy finish.
That is crazy.
Comes off there right up in front of Jamie McMurray. And suddenly a day he thought might end up in victory lane ends up with disappointment once again.
And there's 2 fellas that didn't do anything wrong at all. Jamie's just a victim, and Junior broke a wheel.
In 2007, when the late caution came out at Atlanta Motor Speedway, they had to restart the race because Johnny Sauter popped a tire. And with only 3 laps to go when the race restarted, the race was on. Dale Jr. drove it off into turn number 1 like he always does at full speed. But this time his left rear tire would not hold. It wouldn't blow out. It would literally fall off of the race car, creating a massive crash between him and Jimmy McMurray. Having a tire fall off the race car with drivers driving over 180 miles per hour is extremely dangerous enough. This accident was really bad and one of Junior's worst crashes he's ever had.
Let me know if it's a radiator or oil cooler.
And a problem for the 20 of Kenseth.
Oh, they're going behind the wall. You heard on the radiator, on the radio, is it the radiator or the oil cooler? So there must be a leak of some sort. You see the nose crushed in right here. I think it happened coming to pit road, didn't it, Jeff?
The mechanical. Pull it over here behind the wall.
It almost had to. I saw everybody bottled up on pit road. You see the safety trucks on pit road.
Yeah, the ambulance stops right at the commitment line.
That's just a miscommunication. I don't know if NASCAR told them to roll or if they rolled by themselves and pit road was open. Normally pit road would not be open with the rescue squad there, but you can see right here they have no idea he's supposed to be, that he's going to be there. He's not supposed to be there. He shouldn't be there.
Jeff Burton is right. The ambulance should have not been here, and this was by far one of the most embarrassing moments I've ever seen in any NASCAR race that NASCAR's ever done with safety equipment. Matt Kenseth, who was still trying to make the playoffs, who was not currently locked in the final race to make the playoffs, had problems and was unable to finish the race because he had to check up and got damaged from an ambulance that was sitting on pit road when the pit road had just opened. Thankfully, no other drivers were involved in this accident that were really bad, but man, this was just awful luck by Matt Kenseth.
Watch the 88.
Yeah, he's going down the front here, headed toward turn 1. You can see at 190 mile an hour, and he lost a tire.
Did he not? I believe he just drove down through the grass, which is not unusual for doing that here.
Yeah, that's right. Looking back on it, yeah, he clipped the grass.
It's dry with these cars being on the ground so low. I don't think you can clip that grass like you used to.
Wow, did that push back the Lexan windshield and everything?
In arguably one of, if not his best season ever in NASCAR, Dale Earnhardt Jr. makes vicious contact with the outside wall and it bursts into flames after running over the grass on the front stretch. The entire car would be ripped apart when he would run over the grass and then burst into flames as he would hit the wall. Thankfully, Jr. was okay after this horrific accident.
Ooh, he almost got taken there. Mike Wallace moved up on him a little. Oh, Greg Sachs getting tagged. He comes right in front of car number 3. And moving by is car number 4.
Ernie Irvan got through it. Hard on the brakes was Dale Earnhardt, who brings out a caution here. What do you think of that one, Bonnet?
I'll tell you, they right up behind him, got into him. They got together, come off turn 4, give him a little shove, turned around right there.
Now, this is an interesting situation. The flag is out, right, for the car that spun, which is Sachs. The leader by 15 seconds was Jarrett, but after a caution, this should bring Earnhardt, who tapped the 68 right up on his rear bumper. Let's see what NASCAR is going to do here. You see first that Ernie Irvan incident as Mike Wallace came up a bit, and here comes Earnhardt. He's been trying for 6 laps to deal with Sachs. Just gets a little piece of the back end. Around comes Sachs directly down in front of Earnhardt. Whoa, on the bridle there. Slows her down. Does not make contact, but caution is out. This at lap 328. It happened in lap 327. 1 lap penalty on Earnhardt. Let's go to Randy, who's down there in his pit.
Well, this team is absolutely irate. Earnhardt came over the radio, guys. He said he never touched him. So I don't know what the camera can see from there, but Earnhardt swears he never touched him. Now, we talked a bit about whether or not they can go the distance. Earnhardt's obviously going to lose a lap here. Here goes the caution car. The first one is by him. As far as guys being able to go the distance, the 4 car thinks they can. Now, we got to wait and see if Earnhardt can get back out front here on a restart and catch a caution to be back in contention. But Earnhardt is definitely upset.
And so is Richard Childress.
During the 1993 Coca-Cola 600, Dale Earnhardt Sr., when leading the race, crashed into a lap car of Greg Sachs. This would ultimately penalize Earnhardt and give him a 1-lap penalty for aggressive rough driving. Back in this time in NASCAR, it was very rare that somebody got handed out a penalty like this. It seems like NASCAR is very inconsistent with their rules callings back in 1990s because they didn't know what exactly was rough driving, what was intentional, and what was just an accident. But by the looks of this, Earnhardt definitely intended to get into the lap car, but unfortunately for NASCAR, even if they were upset at Dale Sr., he was still able to do Dale Sr. things and walk away with the checkered flag, picking up the win that night later on. This has to be one of the biggest hits in Jeff Gordon's entire racing career. Jeff Gordon took a lot of hits in his years at NASCAR, but man, this one was just so dangerous. At Watkins Glen, just a few years prior, between the 2014 one we just saw, Sam Hornish Jr., Jeff Gordon would tangle coming out of the carousel. It all happened when Kasey Kahne and Sam Hornish got together, sending Hornish's car up the racetrack and into the tire barriers, ricocheting back across the racetrack right in front of Jeff Gordon, and he had nowhere to go. This had to have been very scary for Gordon. I mean, if I was driving that race car, I would be horrified seeing nothing I can do and a car basically coming to a complete stop right in front of me and just nowhere to go. Jeff Gordon would have then hit the wall head on and go back across the racetrack and stop in the middle of the racetrack. Sam Hornish Jr. also took some violent hits, but his hits were at least a little more protected than Gordon because he hit the tire barriers, and those absorb a lot of the energy.
Lap 108, you're clear. 108 at the line here.
Oh, we got a crash! 48 goes around. The big one happening. The one's upside down.
Slow, big wreck behind you.
Kurt Busch climbed all over the top of the 41 of Custer. The 2 is around. Playoff contenders involved.
Yeah, right there. The 14's pushing the 48. Gets him turning around. Now, off the ride. Kurt Busch way up in the air. Fortunately, came down on his tires. There it starts, right there. That trial, we talked about it earlier, that is the worst place. That's where your car has the least amount of grip around this racetrack.
His car's good right now. He's getting a really good bite off the top of the racetrack. You see him roll here, but watch when he gets off the corner. He gets a head of steam on. Oh! Harvick loses it. Just sideways in turn 4. Yeah.
Hold the brake.
Car just got loose. He was underneath the guy, and you're turning the wheel hard to the left, and your car's free anyway, and he just got away from him.
Fix the balance, guys.
A lot of rain here yesterday. Make sure Harvick can get out of that grass.
Got a lot of damage to that left front. They're going to have to do some work on that because that's going to make a big difference aerodynamically here at Michigan. You've got to have that right. See, he's underneath the 17 car, and you're turning the wheel, and you're on the gas. You're trying to get on the gas as hard as you can, and you're still turning the wheel, and the rear just comes around on you. And you'll see that a lot here. I mean, this is just one of those places where you're on the edge all the time anyway. Fortunately, he didn't hit the wall, but he did do some damage there to the left front when he hit that grass.
This was an unfortunate moment for a pit crew member. Ryan Reed's pit crew member, the tire changer in fact, was carrying the gas can around the car. And what he would do is he would throw the fuel can over the pit wall, hitting one of his team workers. This was just embarrassing. They should know better. And ultimately, Ryan Reed would be black flagged for this, for a mistake that he didn't even cause, but his pit crew did.
Last lap, stage 1.
Well, I talked about Denny Hamlin being so good at saving tires. He knows where to push in the beginning of a run, not use up too much of those tires, not build those air pressures up too much. And he's also, Jimmy Johnson going around.
Into the wall hard.
Unbelievable, our leader. Shaking his head, boy, you know he's frustrated with that. Had such a great car, great race going on. Came up on some lap traffic there. I know his car had been really loose. You could see the back end hanging out on the exit, but I don't know what happened, what may have caused that car to come around.
Johnson was a couple of 100 feet for only his 3rd stage win since NASCAR adopted this form of racing.
This was probably one of the most heartbreaking moments in Jimmy Johnson's entire career. Johnson, with the dominant car in the NASCAR Darlington race in 2020, easily had the stage 1 and easily was probably going to win the race with a great comeback and a great Cinderella story that we hadn't seen from Jimmy Johnson in some time. Jimmy Johnson was already on a long losing streak and needed a win. Ultimately, his day would never come, and this was the closest he ever came to winning another race.
That maybe the fans have turned off a little bit because NASCAR is too safe now. Do you feel like it's too safe out there? That maybe fans like the danger a little bit. That was his view.
Well, I could say that the media center is getting boring in here and it's too safe because you guys got 4 legs on your chairs. So we can start sawing legs off. What do you think about that? You like that idea? Are you paying attention? What do you think?
I'm more interested in what you think.
Well, I'm interested in what you're thinking now. And then I'll have a direction of where I think I want to go with this.
I'm not.
No, do you really? I don't think fans that watch NASCAR want to watch their drivers get hurt. No. You're leading the category today so far.
This has to be one of the dumbest fails by NASCAR officiating that we've seen in quite some time, especially with this new NASCAR Next Gen race car. At Atlanta Motor Speedway, a hybrid super speedway, in fact, has great racing, and coming to the finish line, we were going to have another 3-wide finish between Christopher Bell, Carson Hocevar, and Kyle Larson. Ultimately, we wouldn't get it because NASCAR would throw a caution in turns 3 and 4, effectively ending the race. A lot of NASCAR fans were disappointed at this finish, and rightfully so.
That's like back in your era, Jeff.
Oh no! Almirola Bowman!
Oh, the 24's on his side. Remember what I said, Clint, about 21 cars? I don't know if we got there, but man, that took out a lot of race cars and a lot of great race cars in there.
I know Eric Almirola was one of the front ones up front. So
to his teammate, Christopher Bell. Now that's going to get him to the rear bumper.
Big shot.
Yep. He just got over on that right side.
I could tell you another part of that equation, Jeff. These cars, they have skew in the rear ends. That's obviously for speed and make the cars go fast, make them pull up to other cars. It's also, in my experience, makes them squirrely. When that car hits him, it pushes that car into the steer of the rear end, and it can turn you in a heartbeat.
The 2021 Daytona 500 probably had one of the most embarrassing moments for NASCAR drivers. This was so embarrassing. 14 laps into the Great American Race, the biggest race of the season, they collected over half the field in this accident. So many great contenders from Alex Bowman, Martin Truex, William Byron, Tyler Reddick, and Ryan Blaney were caught up in this accident with nothing to show for. This has to be some of the most embarrassing driving at restrictor plate racing I've ever seen in the early stages of the race. And after this accident, the race got even more boring. They just rode single file around the top of the racetrack because everybody was too scared to race because of this accident early on in the race.
And another frustrating Martinsville finish for Taylor Gray. This time in the Xfinity Series, we are making the walk just to the Care Center.
Taylor, how do you come to terms with the end of that race and the moves you saw from Sammy Smith?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks, right? I feel like we had the best car all day. I can't thank everyone for Joe Gibbs Racing enough. I feel like we brought a really fast operation to Jura Supra, as fast as Xfinity Mobile. Just, it's unfortunate, man. It's the same story I've lived here for in 2 years, 2 Martinsvilles in a row. So it sucks, but it is what it is. Long year.
Is this something that ends here or something that you remember in races to come?
No, I mean, you know, I don't know. It just depends.
It's Kyle, and around goes Kyle Larson.
Man, big impact. Man. Thank God that safer barrier's there, but that was still a huge impact.
Second caution of the day, lap 48.
Oh, yeah, you can just see right there. Left rear tire goes out, and he's lost control at this moment. He's trying to keep it going straight.
Yep.
Hits the outside wall.
This is the one that's going to hurt. Watch this thing come down through here, head on into that inside wall.
Just nothing he can do at this point.
Just hang on. And
straight into the safer barrier.
Watch that safer barrier. Watch that thing flex and shoot that car back out.
Now you're talking about a 3,400-pound piece of machinery.
In 2016, Kyle Larson took a massive hit down the backstretch at Fontana, California, after getting loose down the straightaway and overcorrecting to the bottom of the racetrack. As Larson's car would slide towards the inside retaining wall, it had to be very scary. But this is one of the biggest mistakes that Kyle Larson has ever made. You don't see a driver his caliber make this mistake, especially on a straightaway. But for Larson, this was definitely a first, and I don't think he's made that mistake since, even though he's made plenty of mistakes in his entire NASCAR career.